Hello and welcome to another episode of the MOK Project. Hope everyone is well. And as you would have seen on my Instagram post, this week is Q&A. So thank you to everyone that has asked some questions about me, personal, and what I do at work. And today I thought rather than me just read your questions out, I'd invite my lovely daughter to do that. This is Georgia. Take it away.
Where did you meet your wife?
Well, I met my wife at work. We are both school teachers, and it was at our first school that we taught at. Rachel had been at school for about a year and a bit, I think, and I came in as a graduate and we shared an office together. And in fact, it wasn't love at first sight. There was a little bit of competition, I guess, healthy competition. I was a confident young man in the realms of teaching, and Rachel thought that maybe I was a little bit too confident. But during the year I asked her out on a date and the rest is history.
Do you miss being involved with AFL umpiring?
So I don't think I've mentioned this on the channel before, but for 20 years I umpired Aussie rules footy.
Of the game there.
Oh, isn't Bandura just throwing their weight around early, aren't they?
And it's, yes.
They're just going to let Heidelberg know they're on the paddock. There's no doubt about that.
Umpire O'Keefe will have the honour of putting the ball up and down for the start of the game.
Well, you'll have the honour of starting the first quarter.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. You're puffed, are you?
No.
All right, we're just about ready for the start of the A grade, the Division 1 Grand Final. The ball goes up, Bandura and Heidelberg. Andrew White and Matt Cedar will do the ruck work for the respective teams. Comes in, ball goes down, go favour Cedar. White up over the back, knocks the ball back down. Fitzgerald gets a quick handball out looking for his teammate. Martin grabbed off the ball. Umpire O'Keefe comes in and says he'll have the ball.
In fact, I only gave it up about 2 years ago. The first 13 years I spent as an umpire in my local area. I started when I was about 18 years old. And then 7 years I spent doing it as a coach. I was an umpire's coach in the northwest of Melbourne. And look, I absolutely love AFL and I loved umpiring, but I won't be coming back to it anytime soon. I am enjoying my weekends with my family. Umpiring is a very time-consuming sport. You've got training during the week, but on game day, you're required to be there a good hour before the game, if not longer, and then you're there well after the game doing paperwork. And there's all other things that go into it, going on camps, going to the tribunal when required, being on committees off season. So it is very time consuming, but I still love my footy. And look, I never say never, but certainly probably not in the field, maybe one day in the goals.
What's the best thing about teaching?
Oh, look, the best thing about teaching, particularly in secondary, is that teenagers are hilarious. There's not a day goes by that they do not make me laugh, sometimes cry, but most of the time they have me in hysterics with some of the things that they say, some of the trends that come and go. At the moment, we're in the TikTok craze. We've had the fidget spinners, Instagram, YouTube, we go through phases. And yeah, I just love being in the classroom every day because teenagers are very, very funny.
What's the hardest thing about teaching?
Look, the hardest thing about teaching, and I think every teacher out there would agree with this, is it's all the things that you do that aren't directly teacher related. So it's the paperwork, the forms you need to fill in, they may have moved online, but they're still time consuming. And all of that takes away your ability to plan amazing classes each week. There'd be no teacher out there that says that every class that they step into is a winner or that they were prepared enough for that class. And that's the downside of teaching. And I'm sure one day we'll work it out that having teachers filling in oodles amount of paperwork is not the best way to be a teacher. It's not going to increase results, student connectedness, All of that goes out the window when a teacher's unprepared, and it's not their fault because they're spending too much time on administration.
How did you get started in theatre?
So my start in theatre goes back to when I was in, probably year 11. In year 10, our school did a musical and I decided to be in the orchestra for that. I was a percussionist, and between music and drama, music just won out for me in that sort of middle part of my secondary life. I was in the choir, in the orchestra, and the year 10 musical came along and I decided to be in the orchestra. In year 11, our school did what was called the Rock of Stedford. And for those younger ones watching the channel, I think the equivalent now is the Wakakiri. And our school performed at Rod Laver Arena. When it first started, it was huge and it needed to be at Rod Laver Arena. And each school presented, now I'm just trying to remember back, I think it was 9 minutes. Someone might remember better than me, but about a 9-minute mini performance. I wouldn't call it a musical. It was more dance and storytelling based on a theme. And my drama teacher, or the school's senior drama teacher at the time, tapped me on the shoulder and said, we would like you to be our school's host for that event. And what that meant is I got to come out before our performance and answer a few questions with the overall host about our school's performance. And that was huge for me. That was in front of 10,000 people at Rod Laver Arena. And, I was only 16, 17 years of age. It was massive. So then we get to year 12 and I'm thinking I'm going straight back into the orchestra for our musical in year 12 until that same drama teacher taps me on the shoulder and says to me, I think you need to audition for this show. The show was Bye Bye Birdie. Now, it's not that popular at the moment. I've only seen a couple of schools do it, but for those of you that don't know the musical at all, it's very loosely based on Elvis Presley and when he had to go into the army in the States. But the character's called Conrad Birdie. That's the Elvis character. And his manager is Albert Peterson, and that is the role that I played.
As an adult speaking, I order you to smile. Please. Great skies are gonna clear up. Put on a happy face. Rush up the louder, cheer up. Put on a happy face. Take off that gloomy mask of tragedy. It's not your style. You look so good that you'll be glad you decided to smile. Pick out a pleasant outlook, stick up that noble chin, wipe off that full of doubt look, and now what a happy grin. That's where sunshine all over the place, just put on a happy face.
And that was the beginning of my time in theatre. And if it wasn't for my year 12 drama teacher, and her name is Gina Goss, and there are many people watching this video that will have had an impact by Gina. Many of us were tapped on the shoulder at different times in our schooling career to go into a show, and that since then has got me the theatre bug. I've been to Broadway, I think about 5 times now, either with my family or with school. I see every musical I can. I've produced a bunch, directed heaps as a teacher, been involved with some community theatre as well. So I absolutely love theatre and I have the bug.
Will you still teach performing arts after your promotion?
Yes, I will still be teaching performing arts after my promotion. So those of you that don't know much about how leadership roles in teaching work, essentially it is the higher the leadership position, the less teaching that you do. So many principals out there would maybe teach one class, if that. Many don't teach at all. Deputy principals between maybe 1 or 2 classes. My role next year, I'll be teaching around 3 classes. So on average about 2 periods a day out of 5 at our school. But yes, I'll still, and those 3 classes will be performing arts. So I'm looking forward to that. And a question for you now, Georgia. Will you be involved in theatre?
Yes, I want to keep my dad's relationship with theatre and perform on Broadway.
Well, there you have it, a little bit about me and what I do both outside of teaching and in the classroom. Over the next 2 weeks, I have 2 massive videos coming up. One is a day in the life. So I will track myself from waking up till going to bed on a typical school day, and you'll get to see what happens there. And also I took a camera with me the day my Year 12 Theatre Studies class had their monologue exam performance, and you'll get to see a real insight to how students feel just before and just after a performance exam. So there are 2 big videos coming up over the next month or so make sure you check those out. But until then, thank you once again for watching another episode of the MOK Project.